The San Francisco afternoon filtered through the conference room's huge windows, casting a golden glow on the polished mahogany table. Anna Johnson nervously adjusted the collar of her white silk blouse, her fingers lightly brushing the delicate pearl necklace that adorned her neck. Her normally confident green eyes now betrayed an uneasiness that she struggled to hide. "Gentlemen, Apex Industries is about to join us," announced Mr. Thompson, Anna's boss, his deep voice echoing through the room. "This could be the biggest deal we've ever done, so I want everyone in their best shape." Anna nodded, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She knew how important this meeting was, but something inside her made her uneasy. It was as if the universe was whispering a warning that she couldn't fully decipher. The sound of approaching footsteps caused everyone in the room to straighten up. The door opened and time seemed to freeze for Anna. There, standing in the doorway, was James Callahan, the man she had left 5 years ago, the man whose heart she had broken into 1,000 pieces. James entered the room with the confidence of someone who has conquered the world. His impeccably tailored suit hugged his broad shoulders, and his piercing blue eyes swept the room with a mix of authority and curiosity. When her gaze met Anna's, there was a flash of recognition, followed by an emotion she couldn't decipher. "Welcome, gentlemen of Apex, Mr. Thompson stood, extending his hand. "It's an honor to have you with us." James shook the offered hand, his professional smile never wavering. "The pleasure is ours, Mr. Thompson. We look forward to discussing this partnership." As the introductions were made, Anna felt her heart hammer against her chest. She watched James greet each person in the room, his voice soft and controlled, until he finally reached her. "And this is Anna Johnson, our senior sales executive," introduced Mr. Thompson. James stopped before her, their eyes meeting. For a moment, the world around them seemed to disappear. Anna saw a whirlwind of emotions pass across James' face: surprise, pain, anger, and something else, something she didn't dare name. "Anna," he said simply, his voice low and intense. "It's good to see you again." "James," she replied, her own voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't know you were." "The CEO of Apex," he added, a wry smile playing on his lips. "Things have changed a lot in recent years." The tension between them was palpable, filled with unspoken words and repressed feelings. Anna felt a flush creep up her neck, and suddenly the room seemed too small, the air too heavy. The meeting continued, with discussions on mergers, acquisitions, and market strategies. Anna forced herself to focus, taking meticulous notes and offering insights when needed. But it was hard to ignore James's magnetic presence, the way his eyes occasionally flicked to her, as if he were trying to decipher a particularly complex puzzle. When Mr. Thompson opened a bottle of peach wine to celebrate the progress of the negotiations, Anna felt a shiver of apprehension. She knew she was allergic, but was hesitant to mention it, not wanting to draw attention to herself. James, however, noticed her hesitation. "Anna," he said softly, leaning toward her, "you're still allergic to peaches, aren't you?" Surprised that he remembered something so trivial after so long, Anna nodded. "Yes, but I didn't want to cause any problems." James immediately stood up. "Mr. Thompson, I believe we have a slight problem. Miss Johnson has an allergy to peach. Perhaps we can exchange for another wine." The sudden attention made Anna blush, but she was secretly grateful for James's intervention. Mr. Thompson quickly changed the wine, but not before Anna had inadvertently inhaled some of the aroma. Almost immediately, she felt her throat begin to close up. Panic flashed through his eyes, and James, sensing his distress, acted quickly. He took a small box from his pocket and approached Anna. "Excuse me," he murmured, gently brushing aside Anna's hair and applying cream to her neck. The touch of his fingers against her skin sent shivers down her spine, a mix of memories and sensations she had long tried to forget. "Do you still carry this with you?" Anna asked softly, referring to the anti-allergy cream. James shrugged, a sad smile playing on his lips. "Old habits are hard to break, I suppose." The meeting finally came to an end, with promises of future meetings and potential partnerships. As everyone said their goodbyes, James approached Anna once again. Anna, he began, his voice low and intense, I would like to offer you a position at Apex. Your talent would be a great asset to our company. Anna felt her heart skip a beat. The offer was tempting more than she cared to admit. But the weight of the past, the lies she had told, the pain she had caused, it all weighed on her like an anchor. James, I can't, she replied, her voice shaking. Thanks for the offer, but I'm happy where I am. Something darkened in James' eyes, a mix of hurt and frustration. Am I still not good enough for you, Anna? Even after all this time? The words hit her like a punch to the stomach. Anna wanted to scream, wanted to tell him that it was never a question of him not being good enough, that she had left him to protect him, to keep him from being ashamed of her and his criminal father. But the words stuck in his throat. It's not that, James, she finally managed to say. Things are ... complicated. James studied her for a long moment, his blue eyes piercing deep into her soul. They always have been, haven't they? He said finally, a touch of bitterness in his voice. Until next time, Anna. And with that, he was gone, leaving Anna alone with her troubled thoughts and a heavy heart. She watched his figure move away, feeling as if a part of her was being ripped away again. That night, in her modern apartment overlooking the bay, Anna curled up on the couch, a glass of red wine in her shaking hands. Her boyfriend Ryan, a software developer with kind eyes and an easy smile, sat next to her, listening patiently as she opened up about her day. Sounds like an intense meeting, Ryan commented, running his fingers through Anna's hair in a comforting gesture. Anna nodded, closing her eyes against the wave of emotions that threatened to engulf her. You have no idea, she murmured. As night fell over San Francisco, Anna couldn't help but think about James, about everything they had shared and lost. She knew that today's reunion was just the beginning. The past she had tried so desperately to bury was resurfacing, and she feared the storms to come. Across town in his luxurious penthouse, James Callahan gazed out at the same nightscape, a glass of whiskey in his hand. His thoughts, like Anna's, were stuck in the past, in broken promises and broken dreams. But there was also a determination in his eyes, a silent resolve. And he wouldn't let Anna escape again. Not before discovering the truth, not without fighting for everything they had lost. The game was just beginning, and James Callahan was determined to win this time. The San Francisco morning sun had barely broken the horizon when Anna Johnson woke up, her body tense and her mind racing. The memories of meeting James the day before still hovered in his mind like a lingering fog. She turned over in bed, looking at the sleeping profile of Ryan, her current boyfriend. A pang of guilt hit her as she realized her thoughts were far from him. With a sigh, Anna silently got up and walked to the window. The city was still shrouded in a soft morning fog, the lights of the skyscrapers shining like earthly stars. She pressed her forehead against the cold glass, seeking clarity amid the whirlwind of emotions that consumed her. Good morning, beautiful. Ryan's sleepy voice brought her out of her reverie. He walked over, wrapping her in a hug from behind. Did you sleep well? Anna forced a smile, turning to him. More or less. I think I'm still a little agitated from yesterday's meeting. Ryan kissed her softly. Hey, don't worry, I'm sure you rocked it, as always. As they prepared for the day, Anna couldn't help but notice how distant Ryan seemed, constantly checking his phone with a furtive glance. She tried to ignore the uncomfortable feeling that settled in her stomach, chalking it up to her own paranoia. At the office, Anna barely had time to sit down before Jessica, her colleague and undeclared rival, appeared at her desk. So Anna, Jessica began, her tone falsely sweet. I heard you knew Mr. Callahan from before. It must have been ... interesting to see him again. Anna felt her body stiffen. It was just a coincidence, Jessica. Nothing more. Jessica raised a perfectly shaped eyebrow. Of course, I just thought it was curious how he seemed so attentive to you during the meeting. Before Anna could respond, her phone rang. It was an unknown number. Anna Johnson speaking, she answered, grateful for the interruption. Anna James' deep voice sounded on the other end of the line, making her heart skip a beat. I hope I'm not bothering you. Anna turned away from Jessica, lowering her voice. James, didn't expect your call. I know, he replied, a note of hesitation in his voice. But I couldn't stop thinking about our conversation yesterday. I'd like to invite you to lunch, just to talk. Anna closed her eyes, feeling the weight of the decision on her shoulders. Part of her wanted to refuse to maintain the safe distance she had established over the years. But another part, a part she tried desperately to silence, longed for this chance to explain, to maybe finally fix what had been broken. Okay, she finally replied. But only as co-workers, James. Of course he agreed, but Anna could hear the smile in his voice. I'll meet you at the water bar at noon. When Anna hung up, she noticed Ryan standing in the doorway of her office, a strange expression on his face. Who was that, he asked, his voice filled with a curiosity that seemed forced. Just a customer, Anna lied, immediately feeling guilty. I'm going to have to eat lunch out today. Ryan nodded slowly. Okay, actually I also have a lunch appointment, a new project at work. Anna frowned, noticing the hesitation in his voice, but decided not to press. After all, she herself was keeping her own secrets. The water bar was packed when Anna arrived, the buzz of conversation mixing with the clinking of cutlery and glasses. James was already there, sitting at a table overlooking the bay. He stood up when he saw her, his blue eyes shining with an intensity that made Anna's stomach twist. You look beautiful, he said softly, pulling out the chair for her. Anna sat up, feeling strangely vulnerable under James' gaze. Thank you for inviting me, James, but I confess I'm a little confused as to why. James studied her for a moment before responding. I wanted to give you a chance to explain, Anna. After all these years, I think I deserve to know the truth. Anna felt her heart speed up. The truth about what exactly? About why you actually broke up with me, James replied, leaning forward. Because you see, I never believed that story that you were just getting revenge on your sister. Anna looked away, feeling the weight of her past lies. James' eye. But before she could continue, she saw something that made her freeze. On the other side of the restaurant, sitting at an inconspicuous table, was Ryan. And he wasn't alone. A blonde-haired woman was leaning towards him, her hands clasped on the table. James, noticing her sudden change in behavior, followed her gaze. That is. Ryan, Anna finished, her voice barely above a whisper. My boyfriend. James frowned. And that doesn't look like a work meeting. Anna felt a wave of nausea hit her. All the little inconsistencies, the secret messages, the sudden work commitments, it all started to make terrible sense. I need to go, she said abruptly, standing up. James gently grabbed her arm. Anna, wait, don't do anything rash. But Anna was already moving toward Ryan's desk, her body acting on its own. When she got close enough to hear, Ryan's words hit her like a punch to the gut. I never really loved her, he was saying, his voice low and conspiratorial. Anna is just a means to an end. With her money and my skills, we can really do something big. The blonde woman laughed, a cold, calculating sound. Oh, Ryan, you're so mean. I can't wait to see her face when she finds out. Anna felt the world spin around her. She stumbled back, almost falling, but felt strong arms catching her. James was there, his face a mask of concern and suppressed anger. Let's get out of here, he murmured, gently guiding her out of the restaurant. In the cool air of the bay, Anna finally let the tears fall. Years of distrust, of fear of opening up, and yet she had been deceived again. James enveloped her in a comforting hug, his presence solid and familiar. I'm sorry, Anna. No one deserves to go through this. Anna pulled away slightly, wiping away her tears. Why are you being so nice to me, James, after everything I've done? James cupped her face tenderly. Because through it all, I never stopped caring about you, Anna. And I know there's more to this story than you told me 5 years ago. In that moment, looking into James' eyes, Anna felt the walls she had built over the years begin to crumble. She wanted to tell everything about her father, about his lies, about the fear that had consumed her for so long. But before he could open his mouth, his phone rang. It was a message from her boss, Mr. Smith, asking her to return to the office urgently. I need to go, she said, her voice shaking. James nodded, understanding. Okay, but this conversation isn't over, Anna. Promise we'll finish it. Anna hesitated for a moment before agreeing. Promise. As she walked away, Anna couldn't help but feel like she was at a crossroads. The past and present were colliding in ways she could never have predicted, and the decisions she would make in the coming days would irrevocably shape her future. With one last look at James, she headed back to the office, her heart heavy with unrevealed secrets and an uncertain future. The office was buzzing with nervous energy when Anna arrived. She could feel the curious looks of her colleagues, as if they somehow knew about the drama that had just unfolded in the restaurant. Taking a deep breath, she forced a smile and walked determinedly to her desk. Mr. Smith, his boss, appeared almost immediately. Anna, I need you in the conference room. Now. The urgent tone in his voice made Anna frown. Is there a problem, sir? Nothing we can't handle, he replied, an awkward smile playing on his lips. In the conference room, Anna was surprised to see James already sitting at the table, his face a mask of concern. Mr. Smith closed the door behind them, the click of the lock sounding strangely final. Anna, dear Mr. Smith began, his voice suddenly syrupy, I have a proposal for you, one that could significantly advance your career. A shiver ran down Anna's spine. Something about Mr. Smith's tone, the way his eyes roamed her body, made her instantly alert. What exactly is this about, sir? She asked, keeping her voice steady. Mr. Smith approached, invading her personal space. Oh, you know, a private dinner, maybe a weekend away. I'm sure we could discuss your future with the company on a more intimate basis. Anna felt her blood run cold in her veins. Before she could respond, however, James stood up abruptly, placing himself between her and Mr. Smith. I don't think Miss Johnson is interested in your proposal, Mr. Smith, James said, his voice filled with restrained fury. Mr. Smith stepped back, surprised by the intervention. Now, Mr. Callahan, this is just an internal matter for our company. I don't see how it concerns you. It concerns when you're clearly harassing an employee, James shot back. Turning to Anna, he asked softly, are you okay? Do you want me to call the police? Anna, still stunned by the situation, nodded slowly. Yes, please. The events that followed seemed to happen in slow motion. The police arrived, statements were taken, and Mr. Smith was escorted out of the building, protesting his innocence the entire time. Hours later, exhausted and emotionally drained, Anna found herself sitting in a quiet cafe with James, a cup of hot tea between her shaking hands. Thank you, she murmured, finally breaking the silence. For what you did there. James watched her for a long moment, his blue eyes filled with an emotion that Anna couldn't fully decipher. Anna, I will always be here for you. Even after everything, you still mean so much to me. James' words hit Anna like a wave, bringing up all the emotions she had tried so desperately to suppress over the years. Tears began to stream down her face, and before she could stop herself, she was sobbing openly. James moved to her side, enveloping her in a comforting hug. Shh, it's okay. You're safe now. Between sobs, Anna finally let the words she had kept inside for so long escape. James, I'm so sorry about everything. I never wanted to hurt you. I lied to you. James pulled away slightly, cupping Anna's face in his hands. What are you talking about, Anna? Taking a deep breath, Anna began to tell the truth she had hidden for so long. When I broke up with you 5 years ago, it wasn't because I didn't love you or because I was getting revenge on my sister. It was because my father was arrested. James' eyes widened in surprise, but he remained silent, allowing Anna to continue. He was involved in a fraud scheme. I was ashamed, afraid that you would be ashamed of me if you knew, so instead of trusting you, I ran away. I made up that horrible story about not loving you, thinking that it would be easier for you to hate me than deal with the truth." James was silent for a long moment, processing everything he had heard. Finally he spoke, his voice soft. "Anna, I would never have been ashamed of you. Your father's mistakes are not your mistakes." Anna wiped away her tears, feeling as if a huge weight had been lifted from her shoulders. "I know that now, but at the time I was so scared, so lost. I'm so sorry, James, I'm really sorry." James pulled her closer, gently kissing her forehead. "Thank you for telling me the truth, Anna. I always knew there was more to this story than you were telling me." In that moment, sitting in that cafe with James, Anna felt like she could finally breathe freely for the first time in years. The past that had haunted her for so long was finally coming to light, and with it a chance for redemption and perhaps a new beginning. But while Anna allowed herself to feel a glimmer of hope, she couldn't imagine that more revelations were to come. Revelations that would test not only her strength but also the depth of the love and trust she and James were rebuilding. Across town, in a luxurious office, Anna's sister Linda was receiving an interesting call. "Yes, I understand. Don't worry, I'll take care of it myself. Anna won't know what hit her." With a cold smile, Linda hung up the phone, her eyes shining with ruthless determination. The game was far from over, and she was ready to make her move. Meanwhile, back at the cafe, James held Anna's hand, their fingers intertwined as a silent symbol of promise and forgiveness. "Anna," he said softly, "there's something else you need to know. Something about your father and about me." Anna felt her heart speed up. What else could there be? What else did fate have in store for her? As the sun set over San Francisco, casting long shadows across the busy streets, Anna prepared for yet another revelation that could change everything. Once again. The San Francisco sun was setting on the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. Anna took in the view from James's penthouse, her heart pounding with anticipation of what was to come. The last few weeks had been an emotional roller coaster, and she couldn't believe everything that had happened. James entered the room carrying 2 glasses of wine. Her blue eyes met Anna's, filled with a mixture of love, concern, and determination. "Before we begin," he said softly, handing Anna a glass, "I want you to know that no matter what happens, my feelings for you haven't changed. I love you, Anna. I always have." Anna felt tears form in her eyes. "James, He interrupted her gently. "Please let me finish. What I have to tell you is complicated." Anna nodded, preparing herself for what was to come. James took a deep breath. "After you broke up with me, I was devastated, but also determined to understand why. That's when I found out about your father's arrest." Anna's eyes widened in surprise. Did you know?" James nodded. "Yes, but I didn't stop there. The more I investigated, the more I realized there was something wrong with the whole case. Your father. He was framed, Anna." The revelation hit Anna like a bolt of lightning. "What? But how?" "It was an elaborate scheme," James explained, his voice full of regret, "involving powerful people including your sister Linda." Anna felt the world spin around her. Linda, his own sister, involved in his father's ruin? It was almost inconceivable. "Over the past 5 years," James continued, "I've dedicated much of my time and resources to unraveling this plot. That's how I built my company, in fact. Every deal, every connection was a step closer to the truth, and from you." Anna was stunned. Her entire life, everything she thought she knew was being turned upside down. "But why, James? Why would you do all this?" James walked over, taking Anna's hands in his. "Because I knew you were sacrificing yourself for something. Because despite your words that day, I saw the love in your eyes. And because I never stopped loving you, not even for a second." The tears that Anna had been holding back finally spilled over. She threw herself into James' arms, sobbing against his chest. All the pain, fear, and guilt she had carried for years finally found an outlet. James hugged her tightly, his own eyes moist. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I wanted to be absolutely sure before I brought all this up." When Anna finally calmed down, she pulled back slightly, looking into James' eyes. What happens now? Now James said with determination, we clear your father's name and expose the true culprits. In the weeks that followed, Anna and James worked tirelessly. With the help of lawyers and investigators, they gathered evidence, testimonies, and documents that proved Anna's father's innocence and the guilt of the real criminals. The day of the final confrontation arrived faster than Anna expected. She found herself facing Linda in a conference room, with James at her side and lawyers on both sides. Beautiful Anna began, her voice shaking slightly. Why? Why would you do this to our father? To our family? Linda laughed, a cold, humorless sound. Oh, Anna dear, you were always so naive. Father was in my way, his moral principles were getting in the way of very profitable deals. He had to be removed. The coldness in Linda's words made Anna flinch. You destroyed our lives for money. Don't be dramatic, Linda snapped. Business is business. And speaking of which, she turned to James with a mischievous smile. How's our little deal going, James dear? Have you managed to make my little sister fall in love with you again? Anna froze, her gaze going from Linda to James. What is she talking about? James took a step forward, his eyes never leaving Anna's. It's not what you think. Linda came to me a few months ago offering a deal. She would reveal the truth about your father in exchange for my help in manipulating you back to me. Anna's heart seemed to want to jump out of her chest. And you? I pretended to accept it, James explained quickly. It was the only way to get the evidence we needed. Anna, I swear, every moment, every word between us was real. I never manipulated you. Linda laughed again. Oh, how touching. But it doesn't matter now. You have no hard evidence against me. It was then that James smiled, a triumphant smile that made Linda falter. Actually, we do, he gestured, and a man entered the room. This is Detective Morgan. He's been working undercover at your company for the past few months, Linda. And he's recorded every confession, every illegal transaction. Linda's face paled visibly. This is impossible. The next few hours passed in a blur for Anna. Lawyers argued, documents were signed, and promises of prosecution and restitution were made. When it was all over, Linda was taken into custody, and the process for Anna's father's release began. Exhausted, Anna found herself back in James's penthouse, watching the sunrise over the bay. James joined her, wrapping her in a hug from behind. It's over, he murmured against her hair. Your father will be free soon. The truth has come out. Anna turned in his arms, looking deeply into his eyes. James, I don't know how to thank you for everything. He smiled softly, stroking her face. You don't need to thank me, Anna. I would do it all over again, 1,000 times if necessary. I love you, Anna whispered, the words flowing naturally, as if they were always there waiting to be said. I don't think I ever stopped loving you. James pulled her closer, his lips meeting hers in a passionate kiss. When they broke apart, they were both panting but smiling. What now? Anna asked, a hint of uncertainty in her voice. James intertwined his fingers with hers. Now, my love, we start over, together. No more secrets, no more lies, just us, building the future we always dreamed of. As the sun rose higher in the sky, bathing San Francisco in golden light, Anna felt a peace she hadn't experienced in years. The road ahead would still be challenging. There was a father to reconnect with, a career to rebuild, and a relationship to nurture. But with James by her side and the truth finally revealed, Anna knew she could face anything. The past had been painful, full of misunderstandings and sacrifices. But the future shone with promises of love, redemption, and second chances. And Anna was more than ready to embrace him with open arms.